Britney Spears has been faced with a decade-long nightmare.
She did not serve me.
She did not serve you?
She did not.
Okay.
I just got finished with my book. It's coming out very soon.
It's like my whole life, I kind of felt like I didn't matter.
I'm so pleased and proud to say Jamie Spears is no longer a conservator.
What do we want? Free Britney! What do we want now?
That our family can finally put this behind us and move forward.
Probably like one of the best times in my whole family's life. You know, things were good and we were experiencing the good side of things.
Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me, has hit the shelves, and the latest in men getting dragged through the mud is her dad. Turbulent family history. Britney Spears and her father, Jamie, have been at odds through the singer's life. Growing up, Britney and her mother, Lynn Spears, were close as the matriarch took her eldest daughter to auditions and performances in their native Louisiana. Jamie, for his part, faced a series of personal struggles. Her mother, Lynn, wrote in Through the Storm that Jamie always enjoyed a beer here and there, but he didn't start drinking heavily until after Brian was born in April 1977. With every alcohol-soaked episode, our perfect little life began to unstitch, and the knot we had tied with our vows and our love started to work loose, thread by painful thread, she continued. Jamie eventually went to rehab in 2004 after Britney urged him to seek help.
I just got finished with my book. It's coming out very soon.
It's like my whole life, I kind of felt like I didn't matter.
That you weren't faithful.
I think everyone has a side to their story.
She says she doesn't sleep, she cries every day. You could really sense the control that she has been.
After Britney's career took off in 1998, her parents' marriage took a turn for the worse. They divorced in May 2002, and Britney later called it the best thing that's ever happened to my family. However, Jamie remained in Britney's life after his split from Lynn. In February 2008, he was tasked with playing a pivotal role when he received control of his famous daughter's personal affairs and estate following her publicized breakdown. Although he originally petitioned for the conservatorship to be temporary, it was made permanent in October 2008. The conservatorship lasted for nearly 13 years before officially ending in November 2021. The current situation is untenable, Judge Brenda Penny said in court at the time. It reflects a toxic environment which requires the suspension of James Spears effective today. Since the termination, Britney has spoken out against her father and how he handled her conservatorship.
By looking back, I didn't follow my mother's intuition a lot of times or my gut instincts.
I prefer to be honest and, because, yeah. But, yeah,
It's like I'll say, if someone comes up to me and they're like, "Are you Britney Spears?" And I'm always like, "No, my name's Susan."
A tale of betrayal. Britney Spears recently regained her freedom in November 2021 when a judge deemed her conservatorship no longer required, putting an end to the control her father had over her finances, personal life, and medical decisions. However, the pop star still feels the effects of what she described as her family's abuse that occurred over the course of the 13-year conservatorship. Spears recently recalled the day her father, Jamie Spears, informed her that he was becoming her conservator and the effect it had on her. Devastation is a light term. Britney Spears alleges in her best-selling memoir that her father, Jamie, controlled every aspect of her eating habits while he was her conservator. The Princess of Pop, 41, claims her dad was always telling her she looked fat, and so he put her on a strict diet. The irony was that we had a butler, an extravagance, and I would beg him for real food, Britney writes, noting that she would plead at times for a hamburger or ice cream. However, her requests were allegedly denied due to strict orders from her father. For 2 years, I ate almost nothing but chicken and canned vegetables, Spears claims. However, even though she was dieting and working out, Britney ended up gaining weight, just the opposite of what her father had hoped for. 2 years is a long time to not be able to eat what you want, especially when it's your body and your work and your soul making the money that everyone's living off of. The toxic singer continues, 2 years of asking for french fries and being told no. I found it so degrading. Britney adds that because it was someone else, not even herself, depriving her of the food she really wanted, she felt like her body wasn't hers anymore. I felt scared, the Baby One More Time singer admits. I'll be honest, I was effing miserable. Britney points out that despite the strict health and fitness regimen, she still found herself gaining weight and that the diet had the opposite effect of what Jamie allegedly wanted. Even though I wasn't eating as much, he made me feel so ugly and like I wasn't good enough, the Slave for You singer claims. Maybe that's because of the power of your thoughts. Whatever you think you are, you become.
I'm so pleased and proud to say Jamie Spears is no longer a conservator.
Free Britney!
That our family can finally put this behind us and move forward.
Putting a listening device under Britney Spears' bed in her bedroom, something that's very, very troubling.
Years spent having her body scrutinized by the media and her own family also made Britney used to having others talk about her figure, but her father's lethal words always found their mark. She went on to share painfully that her body was strong enough to carry 2 children and agile enough to execute every choreographed move perfectly on stage. And there she was, having every calorie recorded so people could continue to get rich off of her body. Britney says that no one else but her found it outrageous that her diet was being so micromanaged. Jamie's rep denied Page Six's request for comment on the allegations about the made about him in his daughter's new book, which officially hit shelves recently. Britney further claims in her memoir that she went along with her father's alleged demands because she was so beaten down that she just surrendered. The lucky singer also writes that she had somehow become accustomed to people talking about her body, since the media and other members of her family had always done so while she was growing up. Britney said she was the only one who thought it was outrageous that her food intake was so heavily controlled. My family would stay in Destin, a pretty beach town in Florida, at a ridiculously beautiful condo that I bought for them, and eat good-tasting food every night while I was starving and working, she writes. Britney also claims in other parts of her bombshell book that Jamie, 71, forced her to enter rehab in 2014 while she was performing in her Piece of Me residency in Las Vegas, and that he said, "I'm Britney Spears now," implying she was solely there for cash flow purposes.
For me, as an adult, for the first time, seeing my family dynamics and the unhealthy situation.
Picture of you, a stuffed Britney Spears, holds her stomach like anyone would after eating too much.
I guess my food must have been really good for me to do that.
Probably like one of the best times in my whole family's life. You know, things were good and we were experiencing the good side of things.
And then we get a life and, and just, it's not that deep.
A family scrutinized. Jamie hasn't fared well under the scrutiny his daughter's conservatorship landed him under. He took control of his eldest daughter's life and finances after some highly publicized mental health struggles, which included her famously shaving her head. He should have come out her hero. Instead, he's being branded a villain. When the pop icon's 13-year conservatorship was terminated in November 2021, but her father was suspended from his guardianship duties nearly 2 months prior on the grounds that he was allegedly maltreative. Since then, he has been unable to launch an effective defense. Britney made headlines a year ago when she eviscerated her father on Instagram, writing, "I really felt like my dad was trying to kill me, and I hope he burns in fucking hell." Jamie has kept a relatively low profile since he was suspended as the head of the conservatorship in September 2021, a move made permanent 2 months later. However, DailyMail.com exclusively revealed that he was living with his youngest daughter, Jamie Lynn Spears, following a stint in rehab for alcoholism.
Jamie Spears and others are going to face even more serious ramifications.
Lynn, how you doing? Why is it that Britney served you?
I want to do that. I've got to do that. And so I did. And so it's nice.
I love vintage clothes. Sorry. Can't talk.
Meanwhile, Jamie has maintained his innocence and said via his attorney following his suspension, Mr. Spears loves his daughter Britney unconditionally. For 13 years, he has tried to do what is in her best interests, whether as a conservator or her father. Vivian L. Thoreen, who later dropped him as a client, added, "For anyone who has tried to help a family member dealing with mental health issues, they can appreciate the tremendous amount of daily worry and work this required." The Woman in Me will be released with an audio version, narrated by Oscar-nominated actress Michelle Williams. Britney has recorded a small portion of the book and avoided narrating chapters discussing her family due to the content being too painful to retell, TMZ recently reported. Britney is the third member of her family to release their own autobiography. Her mother penned Through the Storm, the real story of fame and family in a tabloid world in 2008, and her younger sister, Jamie Lynn, published Things I Should Have Said last year.
Britney Spears has been faced with a decade-long nightmare.
She did not serve me.
She did not serve you?
She did not.
Okay.
Well, it's not very often that I get to see my boyfriend, so when I do get to do that, we just, you know, it's quality time. And I love you. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
But
it's
how
very
nice
sweet.
is that?
Yes, it was very nice.
You gotta love him.
Yeah, I do.
I'm happy for the two of you.
When we first started going out, that's how it was, and we accept that. That's, you know, it's not like just something that happened.
That's all we have for you, folks. Join us next time.